Emily Casriel, Deep Listening. Transform your relationships with family, friends, and foes. In South Africa's early post-apartheid days, a crowd of former soldiers gathered in frustration outside the government buildings in Pretoria. They were tired, angry, and desperate for recognition from their new leaders. Emotions were raw, and the risks were real. Nelson Mandela chose to meet them face to face. Instead of heading directly to a microphone, he walked through the crowd, steady, respectful, and fully present. He asked questions. He listened carefully. And gradually, the energy shifted. Voices lowered. People shared what was weighing on them. And when Mandela finally addressed the group, they stayed quiet and listened in return. We all like to believe we're good listeners, but most of us miss the mark without even realizing it. We interrupt, we judge, we wait to speak, and in doing so, we miss the deeper story beneath the words. Think about your own conversations. When someone is frustrated or distant, do you truly hear what's beneath their words? Or do you focus on your response, hoping they'll see your point? In this blink, you'll learn how to practice deep listening, a structured yet human approach to creating real connection through presence, attention, and care. You'll explore 8 practical steps to improve your listening, allowing you to call on it in the moments that matter most, at home, at work, and in a divided world. Why real listening is harder than you think. Most people think of listening as something that happens automatically. Your ears work, so you must be listening, right? Not quite. Deep listening is something else entirely. It's the skill of tuning in so fully to another person that they feel safe enough to share what really matters. When you listen this way, the speaker can think more clearly, express themselves more fully, and even uncover insights they hadn't realized were there. But this kind of listening is harder than it sounds. We fall into predictable traps that sabotage our ability to truly hear each other. You might be stuck in your own head, distracted by how you'll respond or whether you agree. Or maybe you check out emotionally when a topic hits too close to home. You might rush to offer solutions when someone just needs you to stay with them. Sometimes the topic feels familiar, so you assume you know what's coming and stop paying full attention. Even silence can throw you off. Instead of letting it settle, you jump to fill it, interrupting the speaker's deeper thoughts. These habits are common, but they come at a cost. When someone doesn't feel listened to, they shut down or lash out. Misunderstandings grow. At home, this can mean fragile relationships. At work, it means poor decisions and lost trust. And in wider society, it reinforces division and fuels polarization. Deep listening offers a different path. When you practice it, you're gathering information, sure, but you're also making space for someone's inner world to come through. The benefits ripple outward. People feel valued, conversations grow richer, and new ideas emerge. You become more grounded in yourself and more open to others. It takes effort, but the rewards are real. Deep listening strengthens relationships, boosts creativity, and improves emotional well-being. In a world full of noise and conflict, it creates rare pockets of clarity, where understanding becomes possible. In the next 4 sections, we'll look at the 8 steps that guide your deep listening. Before you listen, slow down and clear space. To listen deeply, you first need to create the right conditions for your speaker and for yourself. That starts with step 1, creating space. Deep listening doesn't happen when someone feels judged, rushed, or under scrutiny. You need to signal that it's safe for them to speak freely. Physical setting matters here. Find somewhere quiet, private, and unrushed. Put your phone away. Sit at a slight angle instead of face-to-face if that feels less intense. Offer water or tea. Small gestures like these can ease tension and invite openness. But creating space isn't only about the other person, it's about your own mindset too. That's why the second step in deep listening is listening to yourself first. That Might sound strange, but it's essential. You bring all kinds of emotions, reactions, and assumptions into a conversation, especially when the stakes are high. If you're not aware of them, they can hijack the moment. You might suddenly snap into defensiveness, impatience, or distraction without realizing why. To avoid that, check in with yourself before conversations. What's your emotional state? Are you grounded enough to truly listen? What are you worried might come up? You don't need to be perfectly calm or sorted, but you do need to be aware. This kind of self-listening builds what the author calls internal spaciousness. It helps you stay steady when the conversation gets difficult. And then there's something else, your so-called shadows. These are parts of yourself you've learned to avoid or suppress, maybe a fear of being seen as weak, or an old grudge that still simmers. If you don't acknowledge them, they'll show up anyway, usually in unhelpful ways. But if you face them honestly, they'll have less power over how you listen. So before you even begin listening to someone else, create the space for them and for yourself. The more safety and steadiness you bring to the moment, the more likely it is that your speaker will feel able to share what really matters. Stay present, stay curious. Once you've created space, both around you and within, you're ready for the third step in deep listening: presence. Presence might sound abstract, but it has a real impact. When you're fully present, your speaker feels it. Your attention sharpens, your mind quiets, and you stop rehearsing replies or drifting into judgment. You show up with your whole self, and that encourages them to do the same. But presence doesn't happen by accident. It takes practice. You might try slowing your breathing, planting your feet on the ground, or noticing how your body feels in the chair. These small shifts help you stay anchored in the moment. Distractions will still arise, both internal and external, but presence is about returning again and again to the person in front of you. Once you're grounded, curiosity helps you open up. This is the fourth step in deep listening. Most people think they're already curious, but deep listening requires a more intentional kind. It means approaching the speaker with genuine interest, not just in what they say, but in how they think and feel. You're not trying to confirm your assumptions or steer the conversation. You're giving up the need to control. To do that well, you need to adopt a specific inner posture. That includes humility, recognizing you don't have all the answers. It also includes empathy, so you're not just observing, but connecting. And it includes a healthy awareness of your own judgments, which often show up uninvited. You're allowed to notice them, but don't let them take the lead. Presence and curiosity work together. One grounds you, the other opens you. And both are essential if you want to hear not just the words someone says, but the meaning they carry beneath them. Stillness speaks louder than quick responses. When was the last time someone really looked at you and you felt safe, seen, and supported? That's the heart of the fifth step in deep listening: holding the gaze. In deep listening, your gaze offers quiet steadiness. A soft, steady look, paired with relaxed shoulders and calm stillness, helps your speaker feel acknowledged and grounded. There's no need to fix or evaluate. Just be with them, signaling that this moment matters. The key here is gentle attention. If direct eye contact feels too intense, look just to the side of the speaker's eyes, or occasionally glance away to ease the pressure. You can also shift your position slightly, sitting at an angle rather than face to face, to help conversation feel more spacious. Even your breath matters. Slow it down and your body will follow. Holding the gaze also means paying attention to everything beyond the words. A change in posture, a flicker of tension in someone's face, a shift in tone or a pause mid-sentence. These signals often carry meaning that hasn't yet been spoken. When you observe carefully, you begin to notice what the speaker may not have put into language yet. You don't need to decode or interpret. Just stay with it. Your calm attention can make it easier for the speaker to keep going. This kind of presence continues in the sixth step of deep listening, holding the silence. Silence isn't a gap to be filled. It's part of the conversation. When someone pauses, stay still. Let the silence settle. Count a few slow breaths if needed. Often, the most revealing thoughts surface right after a pause, once the speaker feels they won't be rushed. If you notice yourself becoming tense or impatient, bring your focus back to your body. Feel your feet on the floor, your back on the chair. Ask yourself, what's making this moment feel hard to hold? The answer can help you stay present the next time silence stretches. Silence doesn't mean absence. It's an active part of the listening process. By staying with it, you allow space for something meaningful to emerge. That kind of stillness, held with care, often helps the speaker feel safe enough to continue. These two steps, holding the gaze and holding the silence, offer a deeper kind of presence. You're creating a setting where your speaker can keep exploring without pressure or interruption. When you show that you're staying with them through stillness, it often becomes easier for them to keep going. This kind of steady attention can unlock parts of the story they didn't even realize they were ready to share. Help your speaker hear themselves more clearly. When someone feels deeply heard, they often come to insights they didn't know they had. That's the focus of the seventh step in deep listening. Reflect back. Reflecting back means offering a short, thoughtful response to what you've heard, an emotion, a pattern, or a key idea. Instead of repeating or summarizing, you're letting the speaker hear a part of their own experience through your perspective. That pause can help them slow down, consider what they've said, and decide whether to go further. This step often leads to greater clarity. When someone hears their words echoed with care, they might continue, revise, or connect their thoughts in a new way. Even a brief reflection can shift the tone of a conversation from performance to exploration. You don't need to get it perfect. Try simple phrases like, "It sounds like," or "I'm sensing that," to reflect what you've picked up. If the speaker corrects you, that's still valuable. It helps them sharpen their own understanding. What matters is that they feel you're paying close attention. This creates a natural opening for the eighth and final step in deep listening. Go deeper. As the conversation unfolds, the speaker may begin to reveal thoughts or feelings that weren't easy to access at the start. Your role is to stay steady and supportive as that deeper story emerges. You're listening for shifts, emotions, or contradictions that might need space to surface. If something seems unclear or unresolved, you can offer an invitation, not a direction. A gentle question like, "Would it help to say more about that?" or "What feels most important right now?" can open the door without pressure. Some speakers will explore on their own. Others may pause or hesitate. Either way, your consistent attention makes it easier for them to continue. Reflecting back and going deeper help move a conversation into more meaningful territory. These steps support the speaker as they uncover what's just beneath the surface, and they strengthen your ability to connect with presence, patience, and care. Listen deeply, but protect yourself too. Now that you've explored the 8 steps of deep listening, it's time to look at what comes next: how to listen responsibly, protect your own well-being, and keep growing in the practice. Deep listening asks you to create space for others, but it also calls for care, responsibility, and honest reflection. When someone opens up to you, they may reveal raw emotions, private memories, or difficult truths they hadn't fully acknowledged before. That kind of trust deserves thoughtful handling. Your role as a listener is not only to hear, but to respect the speaker's humanity, even when their views or experiences are far from your own. That might mean pausing to ask if they truly want to share something sensitive, or letting them know gently that you may need to act if there's a risk to their safety or someone else's. When the conversation touches on trauma or deep pain, Your presence can be healing, but it can also be draining. You're allowed to notice when you've hit your own limits. And that's part of listening well, knowing when not to go further. If a topic feels overwhelming or unsafe, it's okay to step back. Humanitarian workers, therapists, and everyday listeners alike need boundaries. Being emotionally available doesn't mean carrying everything. It helps to check in with yourself, especially before listening to people whose views challenge you. Do you have the energy and openness this moment requires? Are you grounded enough to stay present without collapsing into judgment or defensiveness? When you do choose to listen, ask better questions. Invite your speaker to tell a story, share what shaped their perspective, or reflect on what matters to them. Be curious, not probing. You can even share a little of yourself. Small, appropriate moments of vulnerability can deepen trust. Afterward, don't rush on. Give yourself time to process. What did you notice? How did you feel? What might you want to try differently next time? Good listening doesn't just happen. It grows through reflection. Above all, remember, listening is powerful, but it's not limitless. You don't need to listen to everyone all the time on every topic. Deep listening is a practice, not a duty. And part of that practice is knowing when and how to care for yourself. In this link to Deep Listening by Emily Casriel, you've learned that deep listening, through presence, curiosity, empathy, stillness, reflection, and ethical care, can transform every conversation into an opportunity for connection and understanding. Remember that there are 8 steps to deep listening. First, create space by setting the scene for openness and safety. Then, listen to yourself first. Check in with your emotional and mental state before you begin. Third, be present by giving your full attention to the moment. Next, be curious. Ask questions with genuine interest and without an agenda. Fifth, hold the gaze, offering steady, gentle attention through calm presence. Sixth, hold the silence. Let pauses settle and resist the urge to fill them. Seventh, reflect back what you've heard to show understanding. And finally, go deeper by gently inviting the speaker to explore what truly matters. By weaving these steps together, you can create conversations where people feel truly seen, heard, and safe to open up. Okay, and that is it for this Blink. We really hope you enjoyed it. And if you can, please take the time to leave us a rating because we always appreciate your feedback. Thanks for listening once again, and see you in the next Blink. Okay, bye.